iPhone 13 Pro Max, GoPro Hero 10, iPhone 12 Pro Max, and Sony ZV-1. Let's compare the footage. So let's go ahead and look at some footage from these. Now in the first clip, I'm going to do a split window here. That is the 12 Pro on the left, and that is the 13 Pro Max on the right. And as you can see, they look very, very close. Hard to tell a difference there. Maybe a little cleaner on the 13 Pro Max. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some ZV-1 footage here. And this is everything in 4K, by the way. And you can see that the ZV-1 footage actually looks pretty good. The blacks are a little bit more crushed. This is the standard picture profile. So this would be if you just turned on the camera and started shooting in 4K, that's what you'd get. Okay, so here is the GoPro Hero 10. And if you look at it, it is not very good. I know they have a lot of hype about this GoPro, you know, that it's really great and all that, but in kind of low light like this, it's not very good. All right, let's move on to the next clip. Okay, so this is iPhone 12 Pro Max footage, and you can see it looks pretty good. The blacks are not as crushed on this one, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to see now. This is the ultra wide, and that's what it looks like in ultra wide. Not really something you'd want to use at night with this one, but it is acceptable. And coming up here, we're going to go to the telephoto. So here is the 2.5 times telephoto with that. And you can see actually it's not too bad. And the next clip we're going to look at is, so keep this fresh in your mind, we're going to look at iPhone 13 Pro Max footage. So here we are, and they're fairly similar. One thing that drives me crazy with the iPhones is you see the reflection there, the little green off to the lower left. You know, I thought maybe they would, you know, get rid of this, but that's still there. Okay, so there's ultra wide. That one does look better than the 12 Pro. And then we're going to move on to the 3 times telephoto, which is coming up next. So definitely the ultra wide is better. And then here, this is kind of a mixed bag because this is 3 times zoom. And I think it actually doesn't look as good as the 2.5 on the 12 Pro Max. Okay, so this is Sony ZV-1 footage, and you can see the footage is more crushed, but some people like that. It's actually a lot cleaner. And, you know, you can do, this is just a standard picture profile. So there's a lot you can do with this footage. You can shoot an S-Log, whatever you want to do. Okay, so here is kind of matching up the telephotos, kind of similar to what the 13 Pro Max would do, just to see what that would look like. And we're going to go ahead and throw in some GoPro Hero 10 footage and see how it performs in a better lighting scenario. So here it is. Obviously not as good as any of the other cameras, but it's a GoPro. So next up, let's take a look at, this is Sony ZV-1 footage. And to me, it looks pretty clean and good. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom it in, kind of comparing it to, probably that's about 3x compared to what the iPhone would do. So you can kind of get an idea there. And then next up, we'll look at some iPhone footage and see how it looks. The ZV-1 is a lot of bang for your buck with that camera. Okay, so here's the 13 Pro Max, and you can see a lot of noise, and that was 3.0. This is the wide lens, which actually looks pretty good. And then we'll go ahead and switch it to the ultra wide and see how that looks. So there's the ultra wide. And I'm suspecting even with this lighting scenario, when you go to the 12 Pro Max, that the 13 will still look better in ultra wide. Okay, so here is the 12 Pro Max, and this is 2.5 times zoom. I actually think there's a little less noise, but it is a little bit softer, the 2.5x on the 12 Pro Max. So here is the wide lens, and I definitely think the wide lens, that they're very close from the 12 Pro and the 13 Pro. Very, very similar. Now, when you go to the ultra wide, I will say that the ultra wide is definitely a lot better on the 13 Pro Max. So what do we get out of all this? Well, you have the largest sensor on the Sony ZV-1, and you got the smaller sensors, obviously, on the phones, and then the GoPro, which I wanted to throw in the mix because I just got one in, and I'm actually kind of disappointed after all the hype about, how great that the GoPro is. I'm sure it's fine during the daytime, and there's overheating issues, but we're not going to get into all that. But the Sony ZV-1 with the 1-inch sensor is actually really, really nice. To me, I really don't think you're going to replace a full-fledged camera with a phone, and a lot of people are doing that. So there's my quick test on all this. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe.